national recognition for this program. And it's just a volunteer driver transportation program. You've spoken here before about that. That's not today's topic. Today's topic is something that I think impacts all of us, and that's helping mom or dad, or older brother, older sister, or a friend when it's time to maybe stop driving. And some new approaches to that, other than what we all think of as that confrontation. So if someone can get you the microphone, I'll have her come on up.
Thank you very much. It seems like my whole life has revolved around cars. I did get to meet Rich Miller when I was young because my best friend's dad was the manager of the Crest Lincoln Mercury car dealership, and he came in to promote it. So Mitch is an old friend of mine. I want to thank you for having me here to talk about a topic which is sometimes very difficult to have a discussion about, especially at this hour of the day. But it is very important because unless you are not a driver, facing the issue of hanging up the keys is going to affect all of us. So it is something that we need to be looking at, not only for the seniors in our lives, but for ourselves. I've been doing, for the past 2 years, seminars across the county with 3 other colleagues on safe driving safely as we age, because some of our skills get less sharp as we age, and it's something that we need to be paying attention to. It is a pre-step to hanging up the keys. So although we may not right now be facing that, it is something that will affect every single person in this room. Everything in our lives right now is changing, and I'm going to demonstrate that constantly by pulling my glasses up and down because I haven't progressed yet to progressive. I've resisted that. This is low tech. I'm going to be the audio. On your tables are booklets, which will be the visuals. One is called We Need to Talk, and inside there's a flyer called Am I Driving Safe? Am I a Safe Driver? Something like that. So you may take these and read them after class. Since we have been babies, we've been achieving milestones, growing, putting on weight, talking, walking. Those years are often referred to because we're learning new experiences and having new adventures. They're also often called the wonder years. Many of us now have progressed from the wonder years into the wondering years. I'm wondering where I put my car keys. I'm wondering, did I turn off the iron? Do I even have an iron? So we have progressed from the wonder years to wondering and being concerned about our driving. Many of us find that we are dealing not only with our parents and the issues of whether or not they are safe drivers, but whether or not we ourselves are. Most of us will face this milestone, yet another one, and it may be a very difficult time. And the fact is that the majority of people will outlive our own ability to drive. Facing non-driving years requires some pre-thinking. We are not quite almost there with the driverless car, but we're not there yet. So we have to think about what our futures hold for us and what to look for and how to accommodate ourselves as we age and we continue to drive. We may also be looking at parents and other people in our lives, other loved ones, and one important thing to notice is if you see a lot of scrapes and dents in somebody's car, those are red flags, something to begin to pay attention to. I think it's really important for us to understand what driving means so that we'll understand what not driving means. So in your inside shout-out voices, I'd just like you all to yell out the number of years you've been driving.
40.
39? 49.
I can't figure it out.
42. Dude, not enough fingers and toes. One of the seminars we did, a gentleman was 93, he'd been driving 80 years. So to say to this guy blithely, you have to stop driving, was not going to work. A lot of people started driving before licenses even, existed. They drove on the farms and all. So it's a lifetime thing that somebody's been doing, and lots of times you hear after accidents in the newspaper, there'll be lots of articles where people will say, oh, people should stop driving after 70 years old, or 80, or whatever number it is they pick. Just think of yourself when you utter those words and what your future might be, because again, this will affect us all. And what does driving mean to everybody? Again, shouting out, what does it mean to you to be able to drive? Okay. So there we have it. We've been driving the majority of our lives, and freedom, spontaneity, the ability to jump in your car and just go get a quart of milk when you feel like it. For some people, it also involves self-worth. If I can take care of myself, then I can also help other people. And so to take that away can be very devastating for many people. Rural areas like West County, driving is a necessity. It's not a luxury. I find in the job that I do with providing rides to seniors, a lot of people talk about moving out to the far ends of the county when they were young, and now they're stuck out there. They're not driving anymore, and they're feeling incredibly isolated. So when you face the issue of hanging up the keys, many people will have different reactions. Some people, the reaction will be compliance. They're happy to give up driving. Most of the people, there's more defiance. So that's something to remember when we are thinking about asking somebody to stop doing something that they've done their whole lives, how impactful that is. I think about my own life, overeating, overdrinking, doing things that I know are not good for me, and still, they're hard to give up if I've done them habitually and I've done them for years. So think about asking somebody to stop driving. Driving provides them with an outlet. It's something that makes them feel good and possibly helps other people. So it's not an easy, once again, thing to give up. It feels good to be able to get out into your car whenever you feel like it. So that is a huge thing to ask somebody to change. Now some of us are already altering our driving. I don't like to take left-hand turns anymore. A lot of people tell me when they call for rides that they still are driving, but they have a procedure where they can't drive afterwards, or some people don't like driving on freeways anymore. So lots of us are modifying what we're doing right now, and that's wonderful. I really encourage, pay attention to how you feel. What is your safety level, your comfort level when you're driving? But that is very different than never driving again. So while we ask you to pay attention to your gut feelings, also remember that's not quite the same as taking away somebody's keys. So while you may be concerned about somebody's driving, it's really important to be sensitive to the impact that this will have, asking somebody to stop driving. Not only will it impact that individual, it will impact the entire family around them, who may have to step in to provide rides. So again, age alone is not a reason to stop driving. There are over 97,000 drivers in California at this point who are 90 and over. Seniors have the safest driving records. Watch out for the teenagers, as we all know, stay away from them. But seniors as a whole, across the board, because they've been driving so long, are safe drivers. Unfortunately, when seniors have accidents, they're more likely to be injured. Bodies are softer, skin is softer. So a teenager may get up from a car that's rolled over several times. Most likely a senior will not. So that's more the issue, not that seniors aren't safe drivers, but they could be injured more. So it's very important to have conversations over long periods of time if you think somebody should be paying attention to their driving. This is a topic that should be brought up over and over again in gentle, compassionate ways. Don't expect somebody to just hand you their keys when you say to them, I'm concerned about your driving. unless they've really been secretly wanting to give up driving, they're most likely not going to just pass you off the keys. So it's very important to have conversations often. Most helpful would be before there's an incident. So don't wait for an accident, or as we like to call them, crashes, because that's exactly what they are. Things most often can be avoided. They are not accidents. Talk openly. Oftentimes we think that we're the only ones experiencing something, and then if you're brave enough to bring it up, then you'll find your friends are also thinking about the same things. What am I going to do? This is going to affect me. So it's very, very important to plan, review, and talk in advance. And talk honestly. Sometimes we're not very good at assessing our own needs because we don't want to pay attention to them. We don't want to give up the ability to drive, but it's really important for the safety of everybody on the road that we honestly assess where we are ourselves or where our senior loved ones may be in terms of their driving. It may be helpful to ride with somebody that you're concerned about and to actually see what they do when they're driving. I know that in this booklet there's a page called Warning Signals for Drivers. And it's a little checklist, and you can see how many times did I go over the curb in this drive, how many times did I not stop at the stop sign. So those are things that you can judge yourself on. Check your skills, and the other piece of paper in there is, am I a safe driver? There's some items in there that can help you assess where you are at. Driving schools also provide programs to retest seniors or to give you some brush up on your skills if you find that you're getting lazy. I know when I'm alone in my car, I do this on the door. I put my arm up there. If I'm driving with other people, I don't do that. So I'm more careful when I'm with other people than I am with myself. But it's really important for us to really pay attention and assess where we're at. Again, look for dents, scrapes in the car. Those are definitely signals that somebody's having a hard time parking or driving. Try not to be judgmental. Again, this is going to happen to each and every one of us. So while it may be important to say to somebody, you need to assess your driving skills, we have to be compassionate about the impact that that's going to have on somebody. It's really, really, really important to plan ahead what you're going to do when either you or your loved one has to stop driving. This is something that will, again, affect all of us, and the primary key focus must be on maintaining mobility. One of the things that we see in our program at the Senior Center is when people can't get out and aren't engaged in their community, they become isolated and depressed. Alcoholism is a rising issue among seniors simply because of that. They're stuck at home and don't have visitors. A lot of people don't see anybody. So keep in mind that maintaining mobility is the most important thing to do if you are encouraging someone to stop driving. We're lucky here in West County because we have our wonderful volunteer driver transportation program, a small plug for it. We've been doing it for 8 years. Just to remind everybody, we do give rides to people 60 and over who live in West County. We've given over 24,000 rides to date. There are a lot of people we're not even getting to yet. So this is just the start. If anybody wants to be a volunteer driver before hanging up your keys, let me know, please. So the importance of talking about this in advance is also to find out what resources are available in your area. It's important to gather your facts before you talk with somebody about the fact that you want them to give up their keys. Know what the bus routes are. Find out if people are eligible for paratransit. Paratransit is a program which provides rides to seniors and people with disabilities. So if you are eligible for that, there is a 6-week process that you have to go through. So don't delay, find out, and apply as soon as you can. Encourage people to plan ahead for events. And at the same time, it's important to have spontaneity in your lives. I know when my mother was very ill, She was on oxygen and in a wheelchair. It was very difficult to get her out. One of the last things that she did before she passed away, my brother and I took her out. She wanted a beer. It was as simple as that. She wanted a beer. They brought it to her in a big mug, which normally would like, she couldn't lift it, so we had to get a straw for her. But it made her feel regular, is what she kept on saying. So remember, you may have to plan more in advance than normally you would have, but also allow for good times and spontaneity. Again, be kind, loving, compassionate. Again, this will happen to you. What's that, Scott?
That was just
So with that,
he's a regular guy.
that's a regular guy, yeah, well. Again, you can contact local schools and do a little brush up. AALP also has classes up at the senior center. It's important to brush up on our skills every once in a while. Go get your hearing tested every year and your vision tested every year. These are things that we can do in between to help modify so that we can stay on the road as long as possible. Many of us have had surgeries, with either knees or hips or shoulder surgeries, may not be as flexible turning. Those are things, go for physical therapy, take exercise classes, maintain your flexibility so you can drive as long as possible. Sometimes people have taken away car keys from seniors they're worried about, and magically those people seem to keep on having other sets of car keys. This makes it very difficult to enforce somebody not driving any longer. So one of the ways seems to impact people a lot. If you can't get them to stop driving on any other level, this one seems to be very effective. Remind people that if they have a crash and they're responsible, they will lose everything. They will lose their home, their bank accounts. There goes your inheritance. So you have an interest in this too. But seriously, financially, people get worried when they realize that they could really be held responsible and lose everything. So in addition to doing, keeping up on your vision and the hearing test, a lot of the, remember those paddle balls we used to play with as kids? We could do for hours. We could get that ball to go. Try that now. Yeah, maybe I could. Try that now. I'm sure I can't do that now. But bouncing balls, those type of paddle games, those are very important for eye-hand coordination. Just another way to brush up on our skills so that we can keep on the road as long as possible. Improve your memory and comprehension skills. Everybody says, you know, it's important to keep on being active and play games. And the key thing for playing games is that they have to be new games to renew your brain synapses. So if you're going to be playing bridge for 10 years, that's great. Now go to chess. Try something different, which will stimulate your brain in a different way than if you are repeating the skills that you already have. So in summary, I just want to say it's very important to have a conversation many times about your concerns about somebody's driving. Do not expect it to be taken care of in one simple conversation. And I beg you, please do it before there is an incident. So pay attention both to your own driving skills and to the skills of people that you care about. So that's kind of a condensed version of what we did in an hour and a half workshops across the county. We had a great deal of attendance at several of the shows. It's very interesting. A lot of people in their 90s would come to the program and insist they had no reason to be there. We did I hope this doesn't affect anybody in this room, but we did give a talk to one group, and when we took a break, we went out into the parking lot just to take a little walk. The cars were going like this, maybe. I was like, oh my God, we need to go in there and take away everybody's keys. I had never seen such a terrible example of parking across the board by everybody in that room. So again, talk about it, have conversations, be honest about where your skills are currently, and be compassionate. There you go, that's what I can say. Anybody have a conversation or questions? Barbara?
Could you talk a little bit about the process to have a police intervention?
To have police intervention. Police intervention is the last thing that you want in this type of situation. Hopefully you don't have to take that route. If you do have to take that route, the easiest way to do it is when your loved one is going out in the car that you hope that they aren't driving in, and you call the police department and you ask them to tell them where that person is going and ask them to stop that person. That is a last resort. There is a step before that, which is the DMV has senior ombudsman. There's only one person for very large areas, but they can assist you in talking with a senior about what their driving level is. And as a final resort, there is a request for re-examination that anybody can submit to the DMV. It's anonymous, it's a form that you can get on their website, request for examination, and they will call the person that you're concerned about and make them come into the police department, to the DMV, and be retested. Yes?
So the DMV would typically have some sort of procedural protocol as people enter their senior years to re-examine or reissue licenses. Do you know how that works as you?
Well, there are tests everybody has to go through, either road test or road and written tests as you approach certain age, but there is no just general age across the board. So if there is an issue, then you just have to call directly for your individual. But people are, as I said, seniors have the best driving records across the board. So people aren't just going to be stopping, flagging drivers, but they do get retested. And I believe it's starting at 75. We have to be renewed for our license and do a written exam. And in some cases, the driving exam as well.
Matt, very few people that I've seen go for those tests fail them. Right. So the DMV is not the stopgap. The stopgap really has to be the family members.
Yes.
So, Barbara, for my dad, I let Catherine know who went down the chain, and the DMV called him and started asking him questions about, driving and coming in for taking a test and that kind of thing. And he got so grumpy, he slammed the phone down, and that was the end of his license. And that was after we had pulled the distributor cap and he figured out how to fix it. So, in his case, it was very good. Yeah.
You don't mess with DMV.
Go ahead.
I was living on Cape Cod, and I was out here, we were concerned about her driving. So I was back there, and I said to her, Ellen, it's time for you to give up the keys to the car. You can have an accident, hurt yourself, hurt somebody else. She said, that's their problem, not mine. And I said, okay, and at that point we sold the car. So you really have to listen to what they say.
Sold the car?
That's very important.
Yes.
Another alternative is to talk to the family doctor, because sometimes they're shocked that they're still driving. So that's another way to maybe have someone communicate with
Doctors can be helpful. Many doctors don't want to even deal with this issue with their patients, however. But if there is any question about dementia, or if a dementia diagnosis has been given, you automatically lose your driver's license. And some people resist that, but that's just the way it is. But yes, family members getting doctors involved, that's very, very helpful, if the doctor is helpful.
You might check the tags on your parents' car. We found out after my mom died that she hadn't registered her car for 3 years. But she had macular degeneration and was still driving. She thought she could drive at certain times of the day and be okay to go to certain places. Very still.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that people do start doing when they feel themselves not fully up to their skills. They will stay off the highway and do different things, and they'll begin to cut back little by little, but I guess not renewing their registration is a big cutback. I also wanted to mention that there are some aids that are being developed to assist people. Again, our primary goal is to keep people driving and engaged and active in our communities as long as they can be. Oftentimes when I give rides to seniors in our program, and I do this myself, I remember this with my mother, you know, if your car's low and you're older and you're trying to get out of your seat, it's very difficult sometimes. There's nothing to grab onto other than the door hinges. There's a great new invention. Who's John? I'm afraid.
John and Terry.
Oh, John, there you are over there. Great new invention. This was developed by a granddaughter for her grandmother, and these are all things that can assist us once again to continue to be active. This little doohickey goes into the universal door mounts on all of our cars. There's that little U on the door frame when your door is open. And this slides down, and then this protrudes this way, and people can lean their weight, and it gives them something to lean on to get out of your car. And it's amazing. I've tried this. I have a bad back myself, and there are some times when I can't move very well. And you know, sticking this in there, just giving you that little oomph, really helps a lot. So again, anything that we can do. This is a multi-toy. This can break open windows should you find that you're locked in your car, which can happen. I just read about a gentleman in Texas who unfortunately didn't make it out of his hot car, brand new Corvette. He couldn't figure out how to unlock it from the inside. So this can break windows. Terry and I are going to go to the cream is that the name of it?
Get on the pick and pull, just play with it.
Try and play. And plus this cuts, this little piece here has a blade in it that cuts the seatbelt should you find yourself in a position where you can't get out of your car. So it's a handy dandy little thing. Yes.
And John's company sells those, and when we were trying to figure out where to find them in Sonoma County, I searched on it, and the first thing that popped up was paramedical. So, and you weren't around then, but you treated us really well, so thank you.
Yes,
Does it open beer?
No, I was just a comment, those are great things to have, except if you have them in the trunk.
Does it pop open beer bottles?
The old-fashioned way, you have to do the bottom of it, and then, you remember those days in college.
I don't think it does that, but we are talking about proper behavior.
Time for one more
It
question.
looks like a good last resort if they don't keep up there.
It is a
Tell
website.
your mom. Any other comments or questions? Yes.
I know maybe 2 handfuls of seniors that go for the wine tasting and drive themselves. Call me from their cell phones while they're driving. Do you have any collateral related to how the greater risk that they are taking on because of their age combined with all those do not do items?
I'm not a doctor, although I play one at home. But alcohol goes to your head. The older you get, the quicker you get toasted. So it is important for people to not, especially as they get older, to not do that because there are already other combining factors. Medications alone combined with alcohol. Medications, you can be stopped and get a DUI if you are on medications and they are affecting you. So, you know, don't offer, if you get stopped, do not say to the police officer, well, it's new medications I'm getting used to. Do not say that. That's an automatic DUI. Drugs, alcohol, all combined to make our driving less safe. Hopefully there's people like you that they can call on their cell phone, but it's really time to be hiring limos and to take you around. When you're at a certain age, the alcohol just goes through your body. I will confess, when I was in high school, pre-drinking, I was in Connecticut, we'd go to New York to drink, and we could drink at that age, 18, 19, we could drink multiple drinks and not even feel it. I can't get through one drink now at my age. You know, and although I still act immature enough and I think internally I'm 13, my body tells me otherwise, as does all the Medicare notices I'm getting for your Medicare birthday this year. So things change in our bodies, our coordination, our ability to handle alcohol, to handle drugs. So really, it is a time to really stop drinking and driving, for sure.
Dean, thank you very much. There is something that we give speakers, and our missing president didn't give that to me, so I think I probably owe you a bottle of wine. I know where you live, so we will get that to you. Senior brother. The whole concept of and I appreciate bringing up the police intervention question. Honestly, we do that, and we have folks who we counsel and try to convince and try to call their kids, and it's just, they just don't get it because they're too proud to admit they need that kind of help. And so that is a last resort, and we haven't really resorted to that very often, but it gets their attention. We've got someone now who's had his car taken away, he's found it, he's found the keys. The car would show up downtown in your parking lot, Dickie, and all over the place, and finally, I think someone physically took the vehicle away. But the transportation options right now for anyone living outside of the city are us. And we have 50 drivers, of which usually 40 are active, and we don't have enough to really tackle that. So transportation is going to be the new water, which is the new oil. It's a big issue that's going to affect us for years to come. So time to be prepared. So many of you know Wayne Wiesler, who has helped us with the website and is working with Mike and Brian on moving us into the Google documents, Google for Nonprofits World. Wayne became a grandfather yesterday also, and so I wanted to go home and talk to my kids and say, you know, even my gay friends are having grandkids now. That's what's going on here. No one's got grandkids. Well, they've all got grandkids. But anyway, very excited. Great picture of the baby last night. We're going to do a thing, probably starting when Michael gets back, so Michael, this is for you. Who knows what Michael's favorite subject is to talk about? Telemedicine, there you go. So we're going to have a curse jar up here, and every time Michael says the word telemedicine, he's got to put a buck in the curse jar. Yay! And I really think you'll get more recognition for telemedicine that way than you will just talking about it. So help us enforce that with him. Actually, Michael Feld's can really enforce that as finding the president, but I think we'll have a little fun with him because he's easy to have fun with. Dean, I need to have you do one more thing. Come on up. Let's stay there. We're going to draw probably one ticket at a time till we get a winner. No, because your host invited you to. 2639. 2639. 2639. Oh! That never happened.
How about the thanks team?
So I have in my hand
52.
52 now, 13 cards. And I guarantee the ace is there because I put it there. So I'm not going to take it out and show you. I'd have to shuffle the cards again. And we'll warn you that someone whose name shall remain unknown, but her initials are Julie Kidd, won last week, so there's not as much money here as you made. 7? We know you did, and actually it's still sitting here. So, well, look, you brought the door prize and you can have it back.
Oh, yay!
Yes.
I
I hear it.
I'd like to make a quick announcement.
Okay. Would you like the microphone?
I love mine. Well, anyway, I have this radio program the first Sunday of every month, and it's called Joy of Preparedness. And this month, I have a special guest, Brother Scott, who's going to be talking about the Cajun Festival for an hour, from 12 to 1.
I can play right.
And also the other Thompson's gonna talk about the hospital. So if you ever have an issue you'd like to put on the radio or have podcasts, see, 11 to 1 on this Sunday, first Sunday of every month. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. The Chuck Chilburn joke of the day.
Did you hear about the guy who had his whole left side removed?
Oh.
He's all right now. What time is it when you have to go to the dentist? 2:30. I wondered why the baseball was getting bigger. Then it hit me. Just went to an emotional wedding. Even the cake was in tears.
Are you done yet?
What do you call a dinosaur with an extensive vocabulary?
Bruce.
A thesaurus. It's hard to explain.